What does autistic identity mean to me? So for me, my autistic identity relates to the way that I process information about the world, the way that I process sensory information, and the way that I process, I suppose, higher order or more complex information, how I store it in my brain, and how I like to um, communicate it again with the world. My autistic identity is a really important part of who I am, because I do think it describes I guess the way that I think about the world and the way that I've developed my thinking about the world. I feel like it has been a consistent thing. And when I think about my autistic identity, I can think back to how I was at a whole bunch of different ages. And I think about how I thought that the world worked, things like what I thought the meaning of life was, and how the big questions tied together, and I came up with answers to those kinds of questions. And over time that's developed. And I think of all of those speculations and thoughts as part of my autistic identity. I think that another part of my autistic identity is probably my sensory profile. So I suppose it's the different aspects of my sensory environment that I'm drawn towards or that I avoid. So whether that's particularly liking low lighting, or my Himalayan salt lamp, which just has the most beautiful, soft sunset glow. Or whether it's absolutely loving playing football. Not that we've been able to play for the past 18 months or so, pretty much. But I think that all of those things and the music that I'm interested in, I think that all of those tie to my sensory profile, and I can predict the sensory things that I want to look forward to or want to avoid, depending on my mood and depending on the time of day and depending on what I've been doing. So I think that that also relates to my autistic identity. I think that the better I understand my sensory profile and the better I understand how I think about the world and what my goals are that tie into how I think about the world and how I want to be in the world, I think that they all relate to my autistic identity. Yeah, so it means a lot to me. It means a lot of things, and I love that I get to keep developing and understanding it, and I can't wait to see where it's taking me.